Cael?
Hey.
Seven top seeds, right? Sort of unprecedented. Just what does that say about the strength and the depth overall of this program?
Yeah, just obviously got a lot of great kids and seeds. Just the way I always look at it, just the way if the coaches could, although the coaches aren't on the seeding committee, but it's like who's the last guy in the bracket you want to wrestle, and that's really what the seeds are. So our guys earned that by just wrestling hard this year and being consistent, and obviously wrestling in a tough conference. So, but yeah, it's it's just a great opportunity to go wrestle for a national championship, and this only comes around, once a year. So it's a good week to be excited and wrestle with some enthusiasm.
Okay, I know you guys don't talk about wins, losses, and expectations, but there are a lot of expectations to come with 7 number 1 seeds and the kinds of performances you put on this year. Do you look at those expectations from outside sources as a burden or a blessing?
What's the difference? I don't know. I don't really think about it too much. I mean, I just know what each individual's goals are, and we just are trying to help them be the best they can be in the big moments. And obviously the Nationals is a big moment. This in a week we're going to be back here at Rec Hall training again, getting ready for the next thing. So the next thing will be the big thing. But yeah, the NCAA tournament's a lot of fun. These guys work hard. They think about this tournament, probably dream about it as a kid, and it's just a great opportunity for them. Yeah, we don't really we don't look at it as, I don't know, a blessing or a burden, really. It is what it is. I mean, if you want to win the Nationals, you go win your next match and go score points, do what you do, and the results will take care of themselves.
Cael, so obviously you talk about 133, top 5 seeds are all freshmen, 157, 3 of the top 5 are freshmen, and then 184, the top ranked guys are either freshmen or sophomores. So just talk about kind of 133, 157, and 184, those weight classes, and kind of the future of that weight class and why people should be excited to watch those weight classes this year and then the next couple of years.
Well, I mean, I'd have to look back. I mean, kids are just ready to go now, right? They're wrestling and training in RTCs, and there's just so many opportunities. Coaching's continuing to improve technique. Opportunities are continuing to increase, and so yeah, I think you'll continue to see freshmen. Not that it's new, but more freshmen be ready to challenge. Obviously, we're extremely excited and grateful for Marcus Blaze at 33 as a freshman. Just the character he has, and just his his drive and his competitiveness is a boost for the whole program. And 57 PJ is the same thing. Just an outstanding human being. Obviously, an incredible wrestler. Just like Marcus, and I know those guys are excited to wrestle, and I'm excited to see them do their thing. And then 84, Rocco's had a great year, and put himself in a great position to go attack one of his goals. So yeah, we're just excited for him. We're excited for our guys and this opportunity they have in front of them, and it's fun to kind of see what they do with those opportunities, right? I mean, there's not a lot of times as just as clear in life where you get tested or you get an opportunity. It's just, hey, it comes and goes quickly, and choosing to be and competing the way you want to compete is just something you have to do, right? I mean, all the preparation in the world, whatever resources you may have, but ultimately it comes down to you getting out there and going and doing what you do. So it's fun to see, but I know our guys are ready. We have all the confidence in the world in them, and we believe in them, and we love them. They're awesome, so we're excited for them.
Hey, Cael, can you talk about what goes into peaking at this time with the Big Ten tournament, with the NCAA tournament? Is there one element of training? Is there a collection of things that really stand out? Because some people can get tired as they get to the finish line, but it seems like your team is always at its most optimal performance level.
Yeah, I mean, it gives us a lot of confidence. I mean, we track everything, and we know what we did every practice for the last 15 years, and we reflect back and we learn, and a lot of times you learn by accident and by mistakes, and the whole training, the way college wrestling wrestlers train has kind of changed over the last 15 years, and I think it's for us it's just about, and peaking is just about enthusiasm. It's being excited to be where you're at in that moment, and it's just a year-long process and a multi-year-long process, right? And you want your kids to enjoy the sport and enjoy competing more when they leave here than when they get here. That's something we obviously we talk about, and we pride ourselves in that. When our kids leave our program, they're going to love the sport and the ups and downs, the challenges, the opportunities more when they leave than when they get here. So that's important to us. And I think that's a big part of peaking is just the enthusiasm factor in the right moments.
Cael, obviously the Big Ten is the conference for college wrestling, but they get almost a quarter of the entrants for nationals. So just how much does wrestling in the Big Ten for you guys just maybe elevate or get you guys even more prepared for nationals?
Yeah, I think wrestling in the Big Ten is a blessing for us for a lot of reasons. Just because you wrestle the same teams and obviously the best, some of the best kids and best coaches, and you have to wrestle them over and over again. So you can't just sit tight and hang on. You got to really be active and try to find ways to do things better and get better and improve as the season goes along, because you're going to see the same kids over and over again. So I think it's a huge blessing. Obviously, it's a lot of fun. Big crowds, a lot of history, and just a lot of passion across the board in the conference. But yeah, it's a blessing to us to when you're wrestling top schools multiple times in the year. It brings the best out of you.
Cael, things go to plan for your 10 guys. They're going to wrestle 35 or so minutes over 5 matches. So they spend a fraction of the time over those 3 days actually on the mat, and then the rest of it's downtime. How do you help them process that time to make sure it's productive and not self-defeating, getting in their own heads, that kind of thing?
That's a good question. I think if you have the answer to that, you could write a book that would be best-selling. Yeah, it's just, the kids have to make decisions, and it just comes with just being themselves, right? Not changing, right? You would, hope they could just do a certain thing and, maybe stay off social media wouldn't be a bad idea, right? But most of them aren't. That's just what they do every day, and that's part of who they are. And these kids grew up with that now more than, like my generation, we didn't even have a phone in college, right? So it was different challenges then. But yeah, I think it's just the kids making the decisions, and a lot of it, as a coaching staff, we just try to make sure we have the right energy and the right attitude and effort, and we're here for the right reasons, and I think when you're prepared and you're doing your best to do things the right way, then you can sleep when the wind blows, right? And that's kind of like the tournament. If the wind's blowing, and this we can be at peace, because these guys know they're in this room. They know. There hasn't been a year that these guys and our teams haven't wrestled great at the national tournament. Should give them a lot of confidence, and they can just be confident and comfortable and just go do what they do.
Hey, Cael.
Yep.
Going back to 133, Marcus Blaze, had a tough defeat there in the Big Ten Championship against Ben DeVino. Do you see this as an opportunity, maybe similar to P.J. Duke when he had that regular season loss to Antrell Taylor and then was able to bounce back in that exact same matchup? And what, wrestling somebody maybe over the course of years, I think Marcus and Ben have met in some capacity 7 or 8 times to this point. Is there a familiarity factor that maybe goes into those matches with certain wrestlers?
Well, yeah, I think they're both really good wrestlers, and if it's coming down to a 30-second ride out, it's kind of there's a little flip of the coin. Kind of obviously there's tactics and mental toughness and just strategy and grit, but it's also that we don't really want to be there. I don't think anybody really wants to be there. But that's just something that when you have 2 great wrestlers and they're both hard to score on, sometimes you find yourself in those positions. But yeah, I think Marcus will only be that much hungrier and just more willing to go take care of things in regulation with all of his matches. because he's a competitor. He's as competitive as anyone I've coached, and we've obviously coached a lot of competitive kids, and he's so yeah, I'm excited to see him wrestle this weekend. I think he's gonna get after it.
Cael in the back here.
Yep.
50 kids in this field are from Pennsylvania, 3 from your squad. Is there anything you've seen, whether it's recruiting or watching your son and Cunningham's kids, what makes PA so special? Why they're able to succeed at the next level?
I think there's just a lot of depth, and they wrestle a long competitive season. They wrestle really good tournaments over and over again, so they're used to an NCAA season. They're really good mat wrestlers, which obviously makes a difference in college wrestling. A lot of great coaches, a lot of great club opportunities, and more of those are developing. So yeah, I just think a combination, and I think a lot of it's just belief too. They know that they're good, and they believe in themselves. They love wrestling. Wrestling's historically has always been outstanding in PA, even when it wasn't recognized as much, but it's always been there. So yeah, it's not a big surprise. I just think there's a lot of really great wrestling, a lot of really great coaches, a lot of good training opportunities, and a belief there that goes a long way. I mean, belief is probably number one, right? So, and that's there in the state.
Hey, Cael.
Yep.
The NCAA record, which Penn State set the past couple of years, reset past couple of years, I'm potentially on the table again. How do you approach, and how does the team approach, not maybe getting distracted by that, the numbers or what's on the line, but also the idea that, hey, sometimes the best competition is the previous versions of ourselves, our previous teams and squads? Yeah,
I mean, that's just the furthest thing from our mind, really. I mean, those are things you look back later at maybe, but when you're looking ahead, you're keeping things really simple. You're focusing on exactly what you can control and the way you're thinking, what you can do with your hands and your feet. So that's what we do as coaches. I mean, we're just we want to see 10 guys go out there and be their best, the best version of themselves, and just wrestle with gratitude and enthusiasm. And then when the dust settles, then we'll take a look around and see what we can do better.
Speaking of looking back later, Cael, there was a lot of discussion about the Big Ten seeding process this year, and I heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I wish I could be a fly on the wall when the coaches meet and talk this out." Obviously, you can't give us a blow-by-blow recap, but I'm just wondering, is that process talked about already as something you might be looking to change again, or is there anything that you learned from that process that might be something you hope to see next year?
Well, yeah, I think we have an annual Big Ten coaches meetings where we all get together, and it'll be discussed, I'm sure. I mean, it only affected maybe three teams, but you had to be within so many points, 15 points. So only a few of the seeds were even discussed, and so yeah, I just think it has to be looked at again. Obviously, wrestling's unique, and in that if somebody's injured or they're sick or they're not getting the matches in, it doesn't. You still have to seed it fairly, seed it for the kids, do the right thing for them. So, and it's important for our conference too, because if you don't seed people the way they should be, then it's going to hurt somebody, and it generally isn't the kid that's being seated lower. It's like somebody that could have been in there that this guy dropped into earlier than he should have, right? Instead of spreading him out, whatever. So. But yeah, it was fine. I mean, we kind of took the brunt of it. Us and a couple other schools, obviously Iowa, same deal, and Ohio State had 1 or 2. But I think there were only maybe 3 schools that really were affected by it. So nothing was done. But I think in the future, I think it's just something we have to look at, and I don't think anybody is going to. It was just, it was talked about, but we spent a lot of time, our coaching staff spends a lot of time seeding that tournament, trying to do the right, do it the right way, and you're factoring all these different things, like this kid, is he hurt, is he not hurt, he hasn't wrestled, but I think it's obviously worth the time, because you got to do the right thing for the kids.
And going off of that, your thoughts on the NCAA and how they, for NCAAs, how they handle the seeding, particularly at 133. Not to single Jax Forrest out, but he becomes the number 1 seed despite coming in later in the season and essentially wrestling half of the number of matches that Marcus or Ben or anybody else in that bracket. So is the formula right in how they approach generally for NCAAs and the seeding?
This year I didn't really look too deep into the seeds. In the past, obviously there were some, like putting Carter at an 8-9 seed. And you heard before that he was the 7, and then they went home that night and came back and switched him to the 8-9, and you put 3 national champs in the same little, section of the bracket, that kind of stuff. But it's hard too because you don't know if somebody's actually hurt or if they're not hurt. I mean, Carter won a national title with a messed up leg, right? Messed up knee. I mean, not very many human beings could do that. But yeah, this year I didn't really look at it too closely. I think in the past there's always you're looking, you're saying, okay, well, who's on the committee? Okay, this makes sense. This doesn't make sense. And we just got to go wrestle and do our thing and just be ourselves. And we have a great group of kids, and they're going to compete hard regardless of where they're at in the bracket.
Jim?
You're a freshman. We talked about some of the confidence that they need to get through this. Can Levi help? Can Mitchell help the coaching staff? Or are these guys so good that they don't really need a lot of assistance in that regard?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think they all feed off each other, right? I mean, but having the leadership of somebody like Levi, being a senior, and just his consistency, just his groundedness, I think is a big deal. Obviously, the way Mitchell competes, and that leadership is outstanding. But yeah, I think they all kind of feed off each other, and it's all positive, good stuff. I mean, we have a great group of guys. This team's been very close. It's been talked about a lot, almost brought up every time we do media, but and I've heard it over and over again. Just I mean, these guys care about each other. They obviously they're team players, and they're here for the right reasons, and they recognize and understand that the other guys are too, and it's a great group. But yeah, I mean, wrestling, you gotta we can't be relying on momentum or this or that. You got to go out there and create your own momentum and do your own thing regardless of what's going on around you, good or bad.
Expectations for Cleveland. I mean, that's not that far for Penn State fans to make the trip. So, like Philadelphia, just recently here, Cleveland should be very, very Penn State positive. What are the expectations for this NCAA tournament in terms of the atmosphere?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have too many expectations. I'm sure we'll have a great group there, and my hope is just, and focus is just simply on our 10 guys, and when it's all said and done, we hope they're all smiling.
All right, perhaps.
Cael, you said a few minutes ago that you think that, I guess over the last 15 years, college teams have kind of changed the way they've trained. Do you think the success that you guys have had doing it the way you do it has led to that a little bit?
Oh, I think so, yeah. Yeah, 100%. Just our schedule. 15 years ago, if you would have said this is our schedule, people would have thought that was crazy. Now everyone does the same stuff. So that just kind of shows you, if you want to keep competing, you got to continue to adapt and adjust and figure things out.
Cael, obviously Rocco made a run at the tournament 2 years ago as one of those lower seeds. Is he approaching this differently at all, being the 1 seed? And has he talked to Braden or Cole, who are sitting in those lower spots, about how to approach it?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think anyone, I mean, it's not that deep, right? I don't think, you just got, who's your first match, let's go do what we do, and then, we'll figure out who we got next. Obviously, you're planning and you're preparing, but it's one at a time, and regardless of where you're at in the bracket, you just go take care of your next match and things will work out.
little bit ago, you talked about the familiarity factor for some of the Big Ten wrestlers, but there's going to be a lot of different wrestlers. How much does preparation change when one of your guys is wrestling someone they may not have wrestled in years past?
Well, if you see our guys wrestle, I mean, we don't adapt to people that much. I mean, we try to, make our opponents kind of adapt to us. That's kind of, we're not shifting our plan every week based on who we're competing against. We're trying to just help each individual get better at what they do, and of course you have to be mindful of, tactics and strategies of opponents. But yeah, I think it's, it just it is what it is. When you wrestle in the Big Ten conference, you're gonna you're wrestling guys all year long, and in the conference that you're going to need to beat at the national if you want to be the national champ. So, I mean, anytime you wrestle somebody, at least the way we hope, we're thinking about the next time and the next time and the next time, and that's the way you approach each competition. If you're wrestling somebody you haven't wrestled before, it's wrestling's pretty simple. The strategy is just kind of wrestling your positions, and if it's not your position, get out of there, right? So, and if you approach your matches with that, it doesn't really matter, who you're wrestling. It's kind of the same approach. But of course, you got to know tendencies. Certain kids are better at certain things. You're going to force in certain situations and positions that we got to be prepared for. But ultimately, it comes down to us just doing what we do and wrestle the match where we're strong.
Cael, I talked to David Evans earlier this week. Obviously, spent a lot of time here. We talked about Terrell Barraclaw as well. When you see those guys that have spent time here, then go on to another program and qualify for the tournament, what is that like for you to see that, obviously only one guy's represented Penn State, but two of your guys are in the field now?
Yeah. Evans is a great kid. We really enjoyed having him in the program. He did an awesome job for us. So yeah, it's great to see him have success, and especially to go out to a program in the West where there just aren't very many programs, and to help them have a strong year. It's cool to see. But yeah, Evans is a great kid. We hope he does well.
Cael, this moment for Levi, he's the lone. I know guys are different in eligibility, but this is his final year in the lineup. 4 years in the lineup, 4 years out, and he's going to be the one senior that is moving on from this group. So, just can you speak to what he's done for the program and how it seems like so much in a condensed amount of time with him to do it in 4 years like this, and to potentially go out on top as an NCAA champion once again?
Yeah, it goes fast, right? It goes fast. The years fly by, and yeah, Levi's just an incredible human being, incredible leader. He knows, if kids are hanging out with him, you're not worried about them, right? Because they're probably out hunting or something, or but just yeah, seeing the amount of success he was able to have, and even the discipline. He went 157 his first couple of years, and that took a lot of for a young kid to be able to be as disciplined as he was, to be able to go compete well at that weight was really impressive. He's not a complainer. He's always positive. Just and obviously a competitor. But yeah, we're gonna miss him. I mean, people ask about seniors all the time, and I'm always like, well, you don't want to be in college forever. Just do your thing and move on to the next thing, right? There's always something else. That's the way things are designed. And so, as a coach, it's kind of the same thing. Like, let's help these guys get the most out of these 4 years, and then then they jump into freestyle or whatever, and they move in the next thing. But that's just a natural process. But a guy like Levi is a guy where you're thinking, oh man, we only have 1 more year with this guy. Oh man, we only have 2 more years with this guy. That. So he's pretty special, because we have a lot of really great, incredible people come to this program, and he's a guy that we'll miss as much as anyone that we've ever had come through here, just because of the quality of person he is, and his leadership and example in so many ways.
Last one here for Nick.
Cael, what do you tell your guys like Braden Davis and or Cole Mirasola, who things shake out the way they do? They're going to get 2 guys that they lost to, whether it be in season or in the conference tournament. What do you kind of tell them for that next one? Then that one is probably the most important one, which is nationals and stuff like that, to kind of maybe ease their mind or get them prepped for that one.
Yeah, it's all preparation, right? It's all season long, all the training. It's just all preparation, and realistically, I mean, this tournament's preparation for the next thing too, right? It's so Yeah, I don't think there's any special message or anything. These guys know, they've been in wrestling tournaments their whole lives, and you're not always the number 1 seed or the 2 seed or the 3 seed, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's just, again, it's just, the goal is be your best, be the best you can be, but I think our guys historically they do really well when they wrestle the same competitor over and over again. So, but really it's just them believing in themselves, choosing to believe in themselves, and let's go find a way to get it done.
All right, thanks, Cael.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody.